Please forgive me.
Alrighty, guys. So tonight we are going to be cooking some fish, and it will be some lemon Parmesan crusted fish, and we're gonna cook it with a side of mashed potatoes and green beans. So if that recipe sounds like it will be good to you, then stay tuned. Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is go ahead and season our fish. So what I'm going to be using is a little bit of black pepper. So I'm going to go ahead and sprinkle that liberally all over the fish, and then I'll mix this all up. The second thing that I like to use is Tony Chachere's Creole Seasoning, the original one. I'm going to sprinkle that as well liberally all over my fish. All right, and then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give it all a really good mix, just so I can coat both sides of the fish. And the last seasoning that I will be using will be some lemon pepper seasoning. Alright, so here we have some lemon pepper seasoning, and since I've already seasoned it pretty well with the Tony Chachere's, I'm just gonna lightly season it with the lemon pepper seasoning, because we will add the lemon pepper seasoning to our breadcrumbs. Okay, so next you want to set your fish to the side, and you want to go ahead and get to work on your mixtures. So the first thing I have in this bowl is going to be 1 stick of butter, and I just melted the butter down, that way it can cover the fish. In the second bowl, I have some Italian breadcrumbs, and I just use the brand that came from Target. I like how it tastes, so I prefer to use this one. So I just poured some in the bowl, about a cup, maybe a cup and a half of breadcrumbs. And the next thing I'm going to do is add some Parmesan cheese to the breadcrumbs. Alright, so I added about a cup of the Parmesan cheese to the breadcrumbs, and the next thing I'm going to add is some lemon pepper seasoning. Alright, next we want to take our lemon, and I'm probably only going to use 1 lemon. I'm not quite sure right now, but normally I only use 1 lemon, but I have 1 lemon that's looking a little bit dry, so I got out another just in case I needed to use it. But I'm going to try to just stick with 1 lemon, and I'm just going to slice it in half and then squeeze it inside my my butter. So that's 1/2 of the lemon. And now we're going to add the second part of the lemon. And I think that's enough lemon juice, actually. So the next thing that we want to do is whisk it together. And that looks pretty good. However, I do think my butter has cooled just a bit, so what I'm going to do is just heat it back up for maybe another 10 seconds just to get it a little bit more melty. Alright, now we got it a little bit more melty, just how I need it to be. So now we can get started with putting our fish first into our butter and lemon mixture, and then we're gonna put it in our bread crumbs and Parmesan mixture, and then we'll lay it on a sheet pan. That way we can bake it in the oven for about 15 minutes. Actually, I'll do 10 minutes for my first check, just to see how the fish is looking, how it's doing. And after that, I'll just kind of play it by how I see the fish is actually cooking. Normally when I do this recipe, I do it with chicken. I just decided tonight to try to see if I could cook it with fish, see how it turns out. So I'm not quite sure how the fish is going to cook compared to how the chicken cooks. So I'm just going to start off with 10 minutes kind of on each side. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and preheat my oven to 400 degrees. And once it gets done with the preheat, we'll go ahead and put in our fish. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and prepare one of my sheet pans for you. I'll probably have enough fish to go on 2 or maybe 3. I'm just gonna spray some non-stick spray onto the pan first, and then I'm gonna show you guys the process of how I dip the fish into both of the batters. All right, so we have one piece of fish right here, and we're just gonna dip it on both sides into the butter. And then we're going to lay it into the breadcrumb mixture. Try to make sure that we coat it on both sides with the breadcrumb, because that's what's going to make it so crusty and flavorful and good. I'm going to just flip that over and just make sure I get this section. All right, and once we have it coated well enough, we're going to lay it out on our sheet pan. And I'm gonna just repeat that process for you guys one more time. We're gonna coat it in our butter and lemon mixture. Then we're gonna put it into our breadcrumb mixture. We're gonna make sure that we coat it very well all over. Then we're gonna flip it and do it again on the other side. We're gonna lift it out, and it can get a little messy, but it's worth it to me because it tastes really good when I do it with the chicken. All right, so that is pretty much what the process is gonna look like, and I'm going to go ahead and get the other pieces done. And when the oven gets finished preheating, I will go ahead and put the fish into the oven, and you guys will see what it looks like when it gets out of the oven. All right, so here we have the finished meal. So what I did was just cut one open just to make sure that it was all the way finished, and it was. And y'all, this thing smells so delicious. I cannot wait to dig into this. I just prepared some green beans, some garlicky green beans, and some mashed potatoes on the side. So I'm going to add that to my plate, and I'm going to go ahead and plate this up, and I will insert a picture at the end. That way you guys can see the finished product. So if you decide to try this for yourself, just comment down below how you thought it tasted, and I would love to hear from you guys, just to see if you like the recipe as much as I think that I am going to like the recipe. Also, comment, like, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video.